Stars are whispering tales of old, planets spinning, stories bold. Life is dancing through the night, countless worlds in the starlight. Galaxies full of mystery, infinite in their history, beyond our dreams and our sights. Life blooms in the cosmic lights, dancing on the edge of space. Take me away, feeling the universal grace. In the dark our hearts ignite, life across the endless night. Nebulas with colors bright, birth new wonders in the light. Comets trail their sparkling tears, life endures through the years. In the silence of the void, every heartbeat is enjoyed. From the depths and to the heights, life expands through cosmic night. Dancing on the edge of space, and off we go, feeling the universal grace. In the dark our hearts ignite, life across the endless night. Dancing on the edge of space, and off we go, feeling the universal grace. In the dark our hearts ignite, life across the endless night.
Hey everybody, how you doing? Welcome to a long-awaited sky tour for tonight. Benson is clear and we're doing it from there, and we're getting to look at a little bit of the Milky Way before it goes away. We have all of August and September for that too. But I wanted to say this is great. I just came back from Arizona yesterday, and I was there for a week, and I made some changes to the Benson Observatory, and I spent some time out in the Wickenburg Observatory, and we started an overhaul, I should say, of the Wickenburg, that is to say the Sonoran Observatory. It's in dire need of updating and upgrade, so we're going to take that telescope. I'm still deciding whether I'm going to change the mount and go to the same type of system we're using here, which you can see right there. Okay, and right here, this is this system right here. This is the camera that's looking at the telescope. I've got 3 cameras in here now. These lights are infrared lights. 1, 2, and 3. Where's the third one? I've got 1, 2, and 3 right here. Okay, so those cameras do not interfere with our views. It's possible that the infrareds could cause a problem if they were beamed right down in the scope, but they're not. And I would never do that. So it's a great night. We have it's clear now, and I'm thinking we're gonna spend some time. I'm gonna spend some time just getting some good images. This object we're looking at right here, this beautiful object, this is called the Omega Nebula, and I'll show you what it is in our beautiful planetarium software. Okay, here's the the Sagittarius Milky Way right here. We'll probably, if we can, we're going to go up and spend some time up in Cygnus up here. Cygnus the Swan. We're going to take a look maybe at some of the nebulae up in the north end of Cygnus. But we're right here right now, and this is the Omega Nebula, and it's right below the Eagle Nebula and sort of above the Sagittarius star cloud. Down here is the Lagoon Nebula, right there. And this is our beautiful summer Milky Way. And almost everywhere you look in the sky here, we have beautiful stars to look at as well. So this is truly streaming the universe live in real time, because what you're seeing here on the screen, this is live, right? It's happening just right now as we speak, and we can zoom in on this, of course, and take a closer look at it. And I can actually, while we're doing this, I've got 27 frames stacked. I did start this a little earlier, as you can see, so it's 27 frames right here that we have stacked. And I will do one little adjustment. I'm going to back off the black level just off the peak a little bit to tease out any additional data. I'll make sure our enhancements, we have our color noise, and we have an unsharp mask, so we're going to get a slight bit of sharpening in here. And then I'll take this out of the way. And now we get to see it bigger. Isn't that beautiful? That's great. So yeah, I also have to say hello to everybody who's here. Sally Forth, yay, good to see you. Tim F, Tiffany, how are you doing, Tiffany? And you know, I guess it's a 17-year anniversary for you and Mike. Congratulations, my friends, my dear friends. I can't wait to hear the stories of how the night went. Some stories you tell us are really fun. Mike has a lot of good stories. Anyway, I want to say happy anniversary to you both. Daisy and Zoe are here. How you doing? Happy Ice Cream Sandwich Day. That's funny. Tony Lowe's with us. Carl Becker's with us. And Cosmic Ray, hey, how you doing? Yeah, no sea star where you are probably because you've got high clouds. But I will say this, where we are, the clouds have parted for a little while, I have to say. And we're kind of in the winter, well, I should say the summer monsoon down in Benson. And what happens is you get the clouds that come in, and they kind of skirt from the east into the western, from the east into the eastern edge of Arizona. And whereas Benson will be somewhat cloudy, the Sonoran telescope's usually clear. The only problem is the Sonoran telescope is having a computer issue, and we're about to make a major change to that whole computer system. And I'm thinking I may just migrate to a totally different mount. Right now it's a fork mount. It's a Schmidt-Cassegrain system, okay, like Kathy Messick just got. Hi, Kathy. And that particular mount is great, but it has from Meade, it's got issues. See, Meade went bankrupt years ago, and when that happened, all support and all spare parts went bye-bye. So now, when something goes wrong with that telescope, I have to literally take the telescope a couple 100 miles down to Tucson to have it fixed by David, who's at Star Arizona, David Klein, great friend, good guy, and he can do it. But how many times do you want to do that before you decide that you're taking too much of a risk with all that equipment? So we're going to just bite the bullet, and I think we're going to do what's called defork, remove the forks from the telescope and just take the barrel And we're going to set up the telescope to run just like this one's running. And that means you're running a off-axis guider and a guiding camera, and using this software like we're doing right here, PhD. All right, and PhD can see the stars and guide on them very nicely, and that's, I think, what we're going to do. And that said, we'll have a very good result there, because as you can see, when we come in here and we look at the stack, if we come over to our histogram, all right, you can see that we got very nice shaped curves here, and we have 36 exposures stacked right there and none that were rejected. This means that all of our guiding is perfect, and so we have all greens all across the board. Every frame is a green, and that's absolutely fantastic. It's what we wish. Okay, so that said, and also it helps that there's not a whole lot of wind tonight. Okay, if there was wind, it would shake the scope and those frames would get rejected. Ray asked, "Is the Sonoran scope moving to Benson?" Not yet, Ray. I think we have another option with the Sonoran scope, which I'll talk about probably the next stream. But it's gonna stay right now. It's gonna stay down in the Sonoran for now, and in just another couple weeks, I'm heading out to Colorado to look at a site in the San Luis Valley, which is a Bortle 2 sky, by the way. What's Bortle 2? Well, the darkest skies in the world are Bortle 0, okay? And Bortle 1 will take your breath away. Bortle 2 will make you cry. Bortle 3, where we are here, is a sky that also will just make you just stare at it and just lose all concentration because it's so beautiful and dark. And the same as in the Sonoran. So, you know, this is just kind of where we're going to go next. If we can figure out a way to put a scope out in the San Luis Valley, then we'll do it. That'll give us 4 total systems. Why 4? Well, because I've been actively working on a solar observatory here on the East Coast. And so we'll have one during the day, and we'll have hopefully 3 for evening viewing. And I'm still holding out hope that we'll get one for the Southern Hemisphere in Australia. So that's something that I would really be very, very excited to see. So we'll get there eventually. And I don't know the southern sky, so you're gonna have an astronomer here who's just like I don't know what this is, and that's kind of cool. I've never seen the southern sky, you know. Yeah, and Toner Lowe says, "Fortunate to live in a Bortle 2 in the 45th parallel." Fantastic, man, fantastic. Yeah. Yep. Excellent. So we're getting some good imagery here. The filters we use allow us to get some just beautiful shots. Well, since I did this, I think I'm gonna just grab this and put in its target name here and save it with annotations to that directory. And there's actually a circle around it. You see, it's right down here. It's so big that it covers a much more large field of view. This telescope is a narrow field of view. If I was using the Sonoran telescope, we'd see all this and more. All right. So, hey Daryl, how you doing? Yeah, I wasn't sure if I was going to stream tonight, Daryl, and basically after doing a software update down here, I wasn't sure we were going to be doing any streaming, so I actually didn't connect with you yet on this. But so tonight's sort of a test night, but I definitely want to include you again and have you come back. So I don't know how long we're going to go tonight, but I don't think it's going to be very long, but we'll see what happens. I have to set up audio stuff too to have you come in, and I have to remember how I did that. But I mean, sad to say, it's been a while. So that said, I'm going to move this down a little bit just to kind of kick out some of the additional noise, so we can look at some of the data. Okay, if you look at the omega here, it's got this tremendous detail in here. Look at this. It has like this sweeping ray structure in here. And at one point, astronomers thought that this was a nebula that had stopped making stars. Now, most of these nebulae that are pink like this, that's hydrogen emission, hydrogen alpha, okay, part of the Balmer series of hydrogen lines. And there's other series of lines for hydrogen, okay, and so, such as Lyman series and so forth. But this particular nebula, it turns out, is still making stars, and so the recent research on it shows, in fact, that this nebula is not done. They thought maybe it was done, and it's not. So that's good news. But if you notice, we've got some beautiful dark areas up here and some nice, really nice clouds up here of dark dust. You can see in here, you can see some like this illuminated area here. This is actually hydrogen emission that's bordered by dark nebula. This dark nebula is actually doing a favor, because you can actually see how it's accentuating this hydrogen cloud here. And then there's less dense nebula, less dense hydrogen here, so the dark nebula shows up more, And Cosmic Ray, thank you for that information. And so now, I've still got some work to do on this telescope. Right now, we have a first quarter moon, by the way, and first quarter moon would blow your eyes out if we looked at it right now. Well, we could, if you wish, but I would really like to concentrate on the summer Milky Way. We don't actually get that much of a chance with the monsoon. So this is the first night where we actually had ability to check things out. I'm going to save this with 52 images captured. And this is going to go to our skytourlive.org portal, and we're going to be able to you're going to be able to go to SkyTour Live and actually take down any and all these images that we produced tonight. That's always something we provide to you guys. And so this image is yours free when you want it, if you want it. And that image looks like this. There's the image you will get right here. Okay, so you can go download this, all right, and enjoy it, all right. So for those that haven't joined SkyTour live stream yet, it's free. There's no charge. So go to go to our YouTube channel, which is youtube.com/@STLS. It's that simple. The @ sign is the short form label to get to us. Okay, so now what I'll do is I am going to save this one last time with 55, and we're going to say, wow, save exactly as seen. And now we're going to come out of this and go to, let me go back to our low light mode here. All right, right here. Okay, and this low light mode is one that we're going to utilize. Let me just get this out of the way and cut it out there. Okay, good. All right, so now let's go. Oh, look, a satellite just went through. Well, we caught that just in time, huh? Okay, I did pre-focus, but I did it manually. I didn't actually focus for for real. All right, so it might be a little unfocused, so I'm gonna just check that out first. I also want to say hello to Sam S, who's here. Hi, Sam. Good to see you, brother. And we had C&D Boy. Hey, nice to see you, brother. And who said they were here from? I missed it, I think. Oh, yeah. I'm looking back. Hang on. Oh. Can't. Oh, yeah. Pit Sky. Pit Sky, how you doing? Calgary, Alberta. Nice to see you, man. Okay. So what I'm going to do now is, I'm going to do this. I am going to move us off of this. So I'm going to come here and just head over to this blank area in the sky for a moment. And it's only because you can see the telescope moving here. It's only because I want to do a focus run, and I'm going to kill this because we're no longer guiding. Okay. All right. So now let me do this guy. Here we are. And I'll do one more. I want a critical focus, so I'm gonna knock this just slightly out of focus. All right, and then I'll focus it again. There we go. All right, now I'll do a focus run. And 1 second should be good for the focus here. And we'll go on there now. So it's tracking those stars. And what it's doing is it's sampling the star images, and it's going to try and make the star image the smallest it can be. And when it does, it's going to naturally make a curve that's going to have a vertex at the lowest point where the image is the smallest. And that's going to be the magic number. That number may not be where the telescope moves the focus to. So it's going to actually build and calculate a curve. And that curve at the bottom, that bottom vertex, is the point at which we will have perfect focus. So we'll just wait a few seconds. Meanwhile, while we're waiting, I'm going to bring this view up just a little bigger here because I want to show you something. This is the newest camera in our Sky Tour Observatory. And so what I'm going to do, this is a pan and tilt camera, so I can move this around. And we can actually see the area around us. Now you'll notice, okay, there's actually a car here tonight. That's actually one of the other astronomers. He has a 14-inch celestron in the building next to us, and he's doing some photometry right now. You can also see up on the hill, right up there, you can see this is the dome for a 20-inch telescope. And then there's a couple of other buildings up here as well. These objects you see, that's not rain. That's actually just insects flying around. They're crazy here. All right, and one of the biggest things we have to deal with, hornets. They love to come in and nest on things, but we've managed to drive them away. Okay, but that's this particular view. It's really pretty. All right, and so this gives us an all-around view. I'm migrating all the cameras to pan and tilt. This one here is a pan and tilt as well. This one, of course, allows us to turn around and look over the rooftop that we just removed and watch the telescope from another angle, which is very helpful, especially when you have sometimes see the cameras go out. Now you'll notice here we've perfectly focused now. Here's the bottom of the parabolic curve, and it's interpolated to this particular position. So when we remove this, it's already been moved there. You'll see we have beautiful stars. Look at that. Okay, so now we'll come back. All right, and we were just here at the Omega Nebula, and we're now going to move to a different location. Actually, let me do this while we're here in the sort of the middle of the cloud. Let's just do a 20-second shot inside the Sagittarius Milky Way. All right, just to show you how this looks in this telescope, because this is something we haven't done. I'm going into deep sky mode from our low light mode. Okay, and I'm going to acquire some stars. And yeah, look at that. Wow. Talk about stars. They're like just endless. Endless stars. Okay, so now what I'm going to do is do this. And we got stars, and now we guide. Now this is an incredible and interesting view because you'll notice that it looks mostly red. That's because a lot of the stars we're seeing are little red dwarfs, stars that are anywhere from 100th to 10th of the sun's brightness, and they are stars that are very, very dim, small, only slightly larger than Jupiter, okay, and we're seeing their light, of course, from thousands of light years away, because they're still bright, even though they're dim. Stars relative to, say, the stars in Orion, as we know. Okay, but it's in a field like this, where that cosmic interloper 3I Atlas is located. It's in the Sagittarius Milky Way. I did take a picture of it. I did manage to get a picture of it, which I showcased on our show, Sky Tour Radio. And I exposed for a long time, and I saw a dashed line appear, a very faint dashed line, and that dashed line was the object moving. Now, it was moving, for those who want to know, 1.47 arc seconds per minute. So that's not a very, very large movement. So I left the camera open and acquired many, many, many frames, and we could see a tiny little dash appear over several minutes, or after a number of minutes. And that tiny dash was the interstellar asteroid or comet that has now graced our skies. No, it's not an alien ship coming to destroy us. Those are the clickbaiters doing that to you, saying that kind of stupidity, you know. But hey, it's pretty cool, you know. All right, so we do have a supernova. Ray is right in Lupus. Hi, Judy. Nice to see you. Donald Kunzer's with us. Yeah. And Daryl says we should try for the supernova. Daryl, if you have the coordinates, can you put them in the chat, and I'll give that a shot. Let's go back now here while we're waiting. I do want to show you something really incredible. We're going to go here. This is an object that we have many times imaged, but I want to do it again just to showcase. Oh, first thing I'm going to do first is I am going to save this, but I want to change the name. This is the Milky Way. All right. And it's generic. And you can see some dark lines in here. This is dark dust in the Milky Way that's showing up here. And if we actually do this to the histogram, you can see where some of this dust is. Now, stars are only ever points of light. So the stars that look bigger than the others, that just means they're brighter. But they're tiny pinpoints of light. All right, every one of them. They're all the same size to our eyes. All right, they're just fainter or brighter. So if we saw the universe the way it really looks, you might not think it's too exciting. You know, you might not think it's too exciting. You know. Okay, so this is Milky Way. I will save it. We've got 12 frames, but I only save it because we took a picture of it, and I don't need to save it. It's not a intended object for tonight, but it is there. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to go back to our low light mode. Okay, and in our low light mode, you'll see some of the stars in here, but most of them are hidden. You see that? Okay. Now, I am going to wait and see if Daryl, you can get me the coordinates if you can. But I'm going to first go to this. Uh-oh. What was that? Oh, I thought it was a cloud. It's not. Wasn't that free? Isn't that weird? That was weird. Okay, it might have been actually a contrail that crossed over us. Huh. Okay, well, let's try going here. All right, this is the... There it is, the Lagoon Nebula. I want you to see what the Lagoon Nebula looks like, and with this telescope. I don't believe we managed to do it before, but I think we will. Now, let me just tell this to stop complaining because I haven't done it yet. Okay. So now, if we do this target here, we say Lagoon Nebula, we say center in the view, it will center it. Or not. That's weird. Oh, I picked the wrong thing. My mistake. Okay, let me go back to it. Alright, so now we're going to go to... I must have picked the wrong thing. My mistake. Alright, we'll go to Lagoon Nebula now. Alright, there we go. Alright, and then we say M8 Lagoon Nebula and center it in the view, and it should bring it right up about here. Oh, it did that again. That's weird. Okay, not sure why it did that, but we don't have to live with that. I don't know why it keeps changing it to that, but I can bring it in. It's not a biggie. Alright, so Lagoon Nebula looks really pretty in this, and we can bring it in and get it looking really good. I just want to bring it over and move it in. Now, I want you to see that hourglass right here. That hourglass that you see right there, that's a really interesting feature that I'll tell you about. Some of you know, but it is actually really very dynamic region of space. This is a cluster in the Lagoon Nebula, and this star that's right here is actually powering this nebula. Okay, and that's what's interesting about this. Okay, this is an O star that's powering this nebula, and this is hydrogen emission that's going on here. And it's amazing. It's really just an incredible location. Now, I just need to maybe move us the other way. Okay, just a little bit more. And then raise us, bring us down. We have a little better alignment on the camera, but we're getting a field rotator that when we can to allow us to rotate. Clearly, we need to, we'll need some support, some donations to do that. But once we have that, we'll be able to do some amazing work with this system beyond what we're doing now. So now, here we go. Let's go here and first get a guide star. And first thing we do is we set up an exposure. There we go. And now let's select a bunch of guide stars. Okay, there we go. And now we're going to guide. Kabing! And there's our guide star. So here it is, centered in view, beautiful spike. That's its brightness. And the telescope will keep that peak right there in the middle. All right, so now we're guiding, and we can now come over here and do a beautiful 25-second shot. And then we'll go to our live stack view, which is our deep sky mode, and come out of low light mode. And the progress bar down here shows you, right here, shows you where we are. You see our, for some reason, our Asterian Foundation support went away. Look at that. Wow. Okay, now that's beautiful. This is the lagoon. Now, what we're going to do is I'm going to move this up a little bit. Okay. Beautiful black bar. It looks like it's a little fuzzy because it's only one exposure. But when we get two, suddenly it gets better. See that? And as we get more, it'll get even better. So this is really a gorgeous location. And you can see how this O-star, O-stars are the hottest and bluest of any star in the universe. And so what we're looking at now is a star that is causing the hydrogen gas in this whole region to glow. And then this cluster is helping out and creating additional ultraviolet energy that will cause other nebulae and other parts of the nebula to glow. This dark tendril you see winding around, this is just beautiful. Now, to the left of this, way out here, farther than, far across this image, is the Chinese Dragon Nebula, which is a nebula that's just as exciting as this one. But if we get the V462 coordinates, I could look them up, but I just didn't want to make you guys wait, but I can probably do that, huh? Alright, so I can come over here, and while this is growing, we've got 5 frames. Alright. Oh, it's the sky live. Yep. Sorry. So while I'm waiting, I'd like to hear if we have any new folks out there. Would love to hear from you. Tell me where you're watching from. Okay. Andy Morrow's with us. Hey, Andy. How you doing? Endabunka, how are you? He says, love the nebula and center in view, and nope, good to see this happens to others in the same way. A bit frustrating. Yeah, the center in view does work. Actually, usually works all the time. So whatever reason it didn't work tonight, I'll talk to Robin Glover, who wrote Sharp Gap anyway. Notice how much better the view's getting, guys. It's almost looking three-dimensional, isn't it, out here? It's almost looking 3D, But again, I think it's really important to understand that what we're looking at, okay, is the result of a single actual star that is illuminating that, and that star is right there. This guy is the one, that little bright star, that right there. Look at that thing. That little bright star, that's the O star. Again, hottest and bluest of any star in the sky. Not this particular one, but of the same type. And it's illuminating that, creating this hourglass. The hourglass itself has lots of detail in it when seeing it with like the Hubble Space Telescope. And then all this stuff here, this dark nebula here, this stuff here is literally dust that was created by supernovae and dying older stars that go into a supergiant phase. And so we see this whole thing occur, and this pattern repeats across the universe with many different objects. So this is, again, a classic stellar nursery, and this is right here, okay. This right here is the cluster that formed in this stellar nursery, and this is one of the hot stars that actually is making it show up to us. Mr. Django's with us. Hey there. Nice to see you. Kathy, tell us how that telescope is. Would like to know. I know what she's going to say, but I want you all to hear it. Look how beautiful this image is coming out, guys. Again, we've got 12 images stacked, and already we're seeing some really crisp detail. Look at this little curve. Look at that. All these little things. Just incredible. Just beautiful. Absolutely beautiful. Wow. Yes, sirree. Wow. Mm-hmm. That's something. Yeah, so we're gonna let this cook a little longer so we can get a nice, get a beautiful one of these. Kathy Messick says, "Oh, it's a beautiful beast." LOL. Yeah. Yeah, Lubo, how you doing? Nice to see you, Lubo. Lubo says my sound is too quiet. I am sure it is. I've got, I can crank it up. I have the microphone in a different place, but I will be moving it at some point soon to get it back where it ought to be. I am looking now for something else. Okay. Alright, let's try to tease some more data out of this. This is really a gorgeous sight. Okay, so I'm going to take this over here. We're going to pull this mid-level back toward the main curve. That's called a push. We're going to push. It's going to get a little brighter. Okay, look at that. Now we can see more details in here, but we can also see a little more noise. So I'm going to pull this toward our curve and start riding up the curve and stop just before the peak. Okay, so right there. Let me try something real quick. Let's turn off the sharpening. Okay, you see how it gets a little bit softer, but we actually see less of the noise. But that's just gorgeous. I can probably turn this on and bring this down a bit. I'll bring this down to 1.5. And then take the amount down as well. There we go. Every now and then you see these green squares. These are tracking cameras, so they're going to track whatever's moving. So that is very helpful to me. Alright, so we have 19. We're going to go to 20. And now we're going to save it as measure 8, the Lagoon Nebula. Save exactly as seen. Alright, that's the beautiful lagoon. Nice detail in here. This is detail we've never been able to see before with the other telescope because the telescope's a bigger field. So the smaller details in here kind of get lost with the other telescope. But here with this telescope, we can see all of them. This little snake right here is something that we just don't get to see with that other scope at all. And now we do. Musicato's with us. How you doing? He says, I'm new here. He or she, I'm not sure. I'm new here. Are you getting these amazing views from terrestrial telescopes? Yes, we are. This telescope you can see in these 3 images right here. Okay, that's the telescope. It's out. It's 2,600 miles from me, out in the desert of Arizona. And it's in Benson, Arizona, this one. We have a second one in the Sonoran Desert, 220 miles away, but we're doing an overhaul to that one. I had it open earlier today, just doing some work from here in Connecticut where I live, but it's in need because the connection was intermittent, and I can't trust that kind of thing. And oh, look at that! Mr. Django says a girlfriend of mine is going to Buckeye for 1 year to study. I was just in Buckeye, or close to it. That's pretty cool. Very nice. I'm back in Connecticut now. I also want to say hi to Dan Clark. Dan Clark is a guy I've known for many years. I knew his dad, and I was going water skiing with his dad on a lake, and he was in the boat. He was just a little kid, a little pain in the butt. Yeah, that was you, Dan. And every time I tried to stand up on the water skis, I'd fall down. And Dan, in his infinite wisdom, and he's smiling right now, I know he is, okay, in his infinite wisdom, would yell, "What happened this time, Mark?" And it just kept getting me. And I tried and tried and tried, and for some reason I just couldn't stand up on the skis. And I think it's because his dad, John, was driving the boat too quickly. That's it. That's my excuse. That's my story, and I'm sticking to it. I'm sure Dan has another point of view. It's okay. He's a good guy. He served us in the military, and I want to thank him for his service as always. The guy is incredible, has a great family. Always with this water skiing, he says. Well, Dan, I can't forget that, man. Look what you did. You stuck it on me. That's okay. Anyway, okay, so here's the lagoon. We got 27 shots. We'll save it one more time. And save exactly as seen. I can't seem to find the coordinates for the supernova V462. I could probably look at it. Unfortunately, I didn't plan on doing a long stream tonight, so I didn't prepare it ahead of time. But I might be able to get the coordinates here. And if I can, I will drive us to it. Okay, there they are. I got them. All right, that didn't take long. All right, so maybe we can actually do this. All right, we're going to wait until our 30th shot, and then we're going to save it exactly as seen, so you can have this image if you want. And I think this is a good amount of stacking right here. I'm sorry, not stacking, sharpening. Look at that. How beautiful is that? There's so many stars that you just can't get over how many there are. Ah, amazing. All right. Thanks, Dan. Much love to you and your family as always. Hey, Chris Bowling, how you doing? Nice to see you. Yeah, Lubo, we're looking for it. We're going to try it. All right. So we're at 31. I'm going to save it now. Save exactly as seen. Okay. There we go. And now we'll get out of the stack. It will be up here at skytourlive.org. You can go get this picture right now. It's probably getting uploaded as we speak. All right. And in our low light mode, it looks like this. So let's go back to our planetarium view here. And I don't think I put V462 in here, but I'm going to check it anyway. Yeah, I did not. Yeah, no. It's lupus, it's not there. I thought I might have put it in. Alright, so let's see. Yeah, it doesn't do refraction correction, okay. Alright. Let's try this. So this, where we want to go is 15 hours, 8 minutes, 03.27, which doesn't really matter. And that's seconds. And declination. Oh, that's cool. Alright, declination is minus 40. I don't know. I'm gonna have to look and see if this is even up yet. I'm gonna try it this way, see if it knows. And 35. Alright, meanwhile, I came over. This will still be here. the moon is bright, so that's why it makes it look like that. Okay. Lupus. Lupus. It's down here, down below the moon. I don't know if we're gonna see it. Let's do equatorial coordinates. Its declination is minus 40, so it's already set. This is minus 30 right here. Minus 40 is like right here. It's very low, so we probably wouldn't be able to see it, and it's really close to the moon, so that's not going to work for tonight. But we'll work it out next time. Rupert Periwinkle, how are you, man? All right. So now, okay, so we're coming back to this now. We just did the Omega Nebula, and we did the Lagoon Nebula. Now what I'd like to do is take us up to another object up here called the Wild Duck. This is really pretty because it's perched right at the edge of a star cloud. It really is fascinating. So we're going to go there right now. You'll watch the stars move. There's the telescope moving to the new location. There it is. Gosh, that's a beautiful cluster. Now, you might think that's a globular cluster, and it may even appear that way to you, but it's not. It's actually an open cluster, you know, and I'm just going to grab another image. Hey, Fred Phonebone, what's up? And then let's try to grab stars in here and start guiding. There we go. Alright, so this beautiful cluster, I mean, it's perfectly centered. Yeah, telescope's working very well after the upgrade I gave it. I can't wait to look for the helix, Lubo, who asked if we can see the helix. Because we will do that for sure. Alright, let me come back here. Stop that for now. Okay, put this back a little bit. Alright. Yeah, let's do this again. Get this up and running. There we go. And guide our way to this. That's probably not the best star to use. Let's try a different one. Oh, we got clouds. Look at that. It looked like clouds. It might be clouds. We might have some light clouds going over. I can actually, while I'm waiting, let's just look straight up and see what we got. Are there clouds up there? Yeah, lots of stuff going on up there, but no clouds. I mean, there might be some lens flares. The only clouds are down there, illuminated by moonlight. And those clouds are actually out toward the south, and those aren't coming near us. Those are going the other way. So yeah, it looks like the sky is pretty clear for us, except for all these bugs flying around. They love our infrared system. So let me get back down here at the telescope, and then we'll head back down. Oops, sorry, let me just move it up. There we go. Okay, I'm very happy to do this. I forgot I have it's Tuesday, but I'm going to be talking about 3i Atlas at a local radio station on Tuesday. It'll be on the morning show for I-95 FM. which is Danbury, Connecticut, New York City blowtorch radio. Okay, let's do this. Let's do I'm actually going to move this over a little more, and I'll tell you why. Because I know that the star cloud is right near it over here, and we need to move this over a little bit to be able to see it. So let's take you out of the way for now. And then go down a little bit more. There we go. So star cloud's going to be at the edge here. You may not see a lot of it, but we're going to try. So this is Measure 11, open cluster. Details on this cluster are that it's about 6,200 light years from us in the Milky Way. All right, and what I'll do now is go here, set up our guiding again. That's gonna be perfect. Okay, now if there's any wind that comes along, it may upset some of the guiding, but we'll let it go. I'm gonna do it's already complaining. Yeah, it's already complaining. So we had some wind. I mean, we do have a telescope that's acting like a giant sail, effectively. All right, we'll let it stabilize. I'm gonna let it stabilize. Okay, now we'll give it a shot. And we're gonna do a 20-second shot here. And we'll go out of our low light mode and go into our deep sky mode. There we are. Just over halfway done. 5 seconds to go in the first shot of Measure 11, the Wild Duck Cluster. So what do we got? Ah, look at that gorgeous thing. Look at that. All right, so first things first, we can set up our proper colors and then do a quick process on the overall cluster. And you'll see we're way off our curve. We're going to bring this up to about there. All right, we'll do this again. All right, and then look at that, all those stars, that's beautiful. And this guy here, this mid-range, I'm going to drop him way down. Oh yeah, look at that. What a beautiful, beautiful cluster. Now, this is situated in the Milky Way, so you can actually see that there. That it's got many other stars in the background there. So we'll let a few more of these come in. All right, while we're waiting, I am going to do a search for NGC 7331, is it? Yeah. Whoops. Okay, and let's see where NGC 7331 is relative to us here. Up north, and it's in Pegasus, in this galaxy, in the Deerlick group. Okay, so we should be able to see that. Let's first of all get a altitude on it. 32 degrees, and we should be able to see that. It's in Pegasus. It's kind of up in the northeast, so the telescope's going to have to swing way around to the other side, but not by much, actually. So I think we'll be able to see that pretty quickly. All right, so I'll leave that up because we're going to check that supernova out. Hey, Claudio Stabila, how are you? Thank you for saying that's a terrific image. It is pretty. I'll just fix the colors a little better. Measure 11. It's a beautiful image, unforgettable beauty of all of the night. And it's going to be M11. Here it is. And we'll set that target name. Okay. And we'll save it with this image here with annotations so you can actually see all the different names. Lagoon de Sobieski and the wild duck cluster. Amas de Lagoon de Sobieski. Alright, and we'll get rid of this now because we've already done that part. And then we will see 10 shots. We'll save those and save it exactly as seen. There we go. So we save it twice. We save the first time to what's called a FITS file. It's a astronomical file format that maintains all the information, and you have to process it yourself and pull it out. And then we save it as a PNG file like this, where you can just download just what you see here. You know? Okay, and let's see. Chris Bowling has a question. Any guess how close the stars are to one another in light years? It depends where you're looking, Chris. You know, when you're in the Milky Way, in the most dense part of the Milky Way, the stars are only a couple light years from each other. Like in this cluster here, when we look at this, if you get close to it, the stars are somewhat farther apart. So it's a big, giant sphere of stars. Remember, this is 6,200 light years away. So as you get closer, the stars are going to be really far from each other. So they'll be many, many light years from each other once you get there. But from our distance of 6,000 light years, it all looks like it's compressed into one tiny thing. But remember, stars are only ever points of light. And if these were just points of light, it'd be kind of boring. But they would just be bright points of light. You wouldn't see these round objects. You would see points. Bright points, some brighter than others. And your eye probably wouldn't be able to discern the difference between them. They would all look kind of the same brightness, except for the brightest ones and the not so brightest ones. Okay, but the stars are, in the most compact locations, they are about a couple light years from each other. Stars like this and this guy, you're probably looking at stars that are maybe 10 light years from each other. When you see them from a distance, maybe 8 to 10 light years from each other in this cluster. Right, so they're not that close to each other in reality. So, hope that gives you. Steven says, who's Mr. Django, Steven says, Mark, did you meet up with Tara and Marianne? Yes, Marianne is my chief financial officer for SkyTour Livestream, the 501c3 nonprofit organization. So when I go out there, I have a room in Marianne's house that SkyTour rents for me when I go out. And so Tara I saw as well. And Tara is the other third of what SkyTour is. She's responsible for a lot of what we do in terms of what she does. She's an artist, and she's also incredibly familiar with the processes to make a 501c3, and so she helped us greatly for that. So that is something we're forever grateful for. One more exposure to 20, and I think we're guiding well here. Yeah, we are. All right, one more exposure to 20, and then we're going to move on. All right, there we go. We're going to save this. Okay. And then save it as seen. And now we'll try that other thing. This will be up on the server for you if you want it. Let's go back to our low light mode here. Yeah, it's easy. Without backup, this would never have happened. Without Tara and without Marianne, Mark would just be a guy who wishes he had a telescope somewhere. Because without them, it wouldn't have become set up like it is. Okay, let's go here. We're still looking here at this galaxy. Let's see if we can go to this galaxy and see that. Telescope's going to move up and look up to the northeast. Shouldn't have a problem doing it, but we'll make sure. Alright. Yeah, it's going to be pretty low. Yeah. Now, let's see if the galaxy is visible here. Well, it kind of looks like it might be here. Let's see if we can find out where we are. Yeah. Okay, NGC 7331 just out of view. So because I want that, I'm going to tell it to plate solve and resync. So it'll put NGC 7331 directly in the center of the view here. Alright, there it is. Okay, so in here, I mean, there's lots of stuff going on in here. I don't know which is the supernova in this galaxy, but I'll have to see. Okay, let's do this again. There it is. Okay. Alright, so 7331 is in the view. Is that the supernova? That's what I want to know. Cosmic ray, maybe you know. I will try to remember if I looked at this galaxy before. That might be the supernova. Maybe it's not. I have to check. Next thing is, let's do a 25-second photo of this galaxy after we acquire the stars. Let's do that. Okay. And yeah, so we should grab that bright star. You did, good. Alright. So we're going to guide on that. Supernova has a magnitude around 12, so it might be that. Okay, let's move this over a little bit. Oh, I know. I just did that, didn't I? Okay, stop. All right. I gotta do this. We gotta go to 1 second. Yeah, see, I moved it a little too far. I'm gonna move it back 1 notch. Okay, there we go. All right. So now let's go back to doing a 25-second exposure of this galaxy. And let's get our stars and grab our guide star again and go for it. All right, here we go. Okay, and now we'll go to our low light, our deep sky mode and bring it in. Okay, so right there, I'm going to guess that's the supernova. Okay, that's probably a magnitude 12 star. But we'll have that to check against. Let me color correct it first. There we go. And then let's do a process. That's going to be too bright. I'll move this down. Like that. Move it down. And then bring our dark value up nearly to the peak. And we'll wait for some more images to come in. We've got 2 so far. Ray, thank you for this information. You and Daryl for suggesting looking at the supernova tonight. Alright. It's kind of low in the northeast, so it looks a little reddened. So we can actually correct for that. Another galaxy right there, of course. We come in here and you can see we got all kinds of things going on here. Let me look at that. Yeah, we are. So save image with annotations. Set target name. And we're gonna Yeah, I do, and it's going to say it can't, but we're gonna. Okay, and I'm going to change this also to SN for supernova. That's AN, SN for supernova. Alright, and it'll say that, and then it'll say that. And then I can save with annotations. It's going to go to the right directory at this point. There it goes. And we'll save the 6 frames. And we don't need these now. It's not going to save those anyway with that. And then we'll save it exactly as seen. Alright. This is the C11, Ray. He says it would be mo better in C11. It is the C11. It's the 11-inch system we're using right here. Oh, the other thing you can see is our private internet here. We got the Starlink in there now. I did offer to share it with one of the astronomers near me, but guess what? He already had a Starlink on his. Look, we all hate the Starlink satellites in our view, but we all know that it's the best we're going to get. You know, it gives us the best internet we can hope for. Here we go. Yeah, I'm sure that's the supernova right there. Now, if you think about it, sometimes these supernovae outshine the entire galaxy itself. You know. By the way, good evening, Heinz Sherry. I did not see you earlier. Nice to see you. Fred Phonebone asked a question earlier. Are the brighter red stars in the cluster itself, or are they part of the Milky Way too? Well, kind of a mix, because that cluster was 6,200 light years away, but the Milky Way, the scutum star cloud behind it, was I think further away. So those are probably in the cluster and not in the Milky Way that's farther behind it. This is nice. We lost. So guiding is perfect tonight. We haven't had any problems. You know. So if we look at our filter, our full width half maximum, we can see that we're getting all greens. I like that. That means that the guider is doing a fantastic job. And we're very, very happy about that. We can see a dark lane here in this galaxy that's taking shape now. This galaxy would have been just a tiny little thing. It would be about that big on the other telescope, maybe a little bit bigger. But on this telescope, we actually see detail in there. Really nice. You can see the outer halo. We can actually enhance that too, if I'm sure. So bring this in a little bit. Do a push, as we said. That's not bad. So now you can actually see this outer halo of stars. That's something else. Yes, I have a reducer of 0.7, so I'm running at f7 rather than the f10 native that this runs at. Fred, Starlink, hiss, hiss. Well, guess what? Starlink is responsible for this tonight at all and entirely. We don't have a internet without Starlink. I do actually. I mean, but the only trouble is, I've actually I've basically unplugged the router in the building, and the next time they go out, I'll just have them plug it back in. Because our Starlink is the sole provider for us right now. Yeah. James Dugan, how you doing? G'day. How's it going down there in Australia? Nice to have you here with us. Still looking for a site down there, James. I want to have a nice remote site down in Oz to be able to look at the southern sky. It'll come. We'll get it sooner or later. Really nice. Heinz says, Mark has shown us to the Milky Way galaxy. Well, yeah, why not? You know, I think it's great, and great. That's good, James. Good to hear it. Oh yeah. So I'm trying to look at the comments. You know what? As it turns out, I probably should have, called Daryl to get him on board with us tonight. But again, I didn't know that I was going to be doing this long a stream as we are now. So I apologize for that. He'll be back at the next stream, no doubt. I'll have him with us. I'm certainly not excluding him in any way. I enjoy having him on our streams. Look at these beautiful things. Look, I have 18 shots. One was rejected. That probably because of the wind. Again, this giant sail here of a telescope. Look how far up it's sticking up above the building. Yeah. Yeah, let's see here. Let's just look up a little more. Yeah, we're looking way up there. You can see the business end of the telescope right here. Yeah. Looks great. Okay, 20. Alright, well, save this and save it exactly as seen. So now we can say we actually saw the supernova, which I do think is this right here. Very nice. And so now I will come out of this. And we got one of the supernovae. The Lupus supernova was below the horizon, or close to the horizon. Too low for us to see any detail, really. Alright. But it's nice we can see it in our low light. Again, I think that's it. But we'll have to look at 7331 to see. But alright. Let's go now back to here. Back out a little bit. Andromeda Galaxy is way down near the horizon, so we won't be able to see that. We'll wait a little while. But we're going to try something now that we haven't looked at before. And that's going to be over here. This is the North American Nebula. It's really a beautiful nebula. The North America and the Pelican Nebula are beautiful. Okay, and they stand out. They always do. And what we're going to do is we're going to come up to the North American Nebula and check it out. It's actually sort of in a neighborhood. The telescope's going to kind of go a little higher. Here we are. Alright. So there we are. Now I will bring this down a little bit. Actually, I'm going to increase this to a huge amount here. So this is the where is it? Yeah, it's at the value here. I gotta go down and back up here, I guess. Interesting. Alright, I don't got a 350 yet. I'll go to, let's try that. As I want to locate a certain element. Actually, I can do this. I'll do this, and there we are. Alright, so Hipparchus, yeah, I want to take that star and I'll center it. Let's see if this works. Center in the view, and that star should move here, and it does. See, sometimes it works. Most times it works. Okay, so if I check out our crosshairs, you can see that we have almost dead center in the view. That's not bad at all. Not bad at all. Okay, so now that is the star Hipparchus 103519, and now I gotta come back here and bring myself down here and find 103519. It's a Hipparchus star catalog. Here it is, and there we go. That's where we are. Let's get our view. Okay, that's where we are right now, and I'm going to set our coordinates to that, and then refind it, and it'll be right there in the middle again. Okay, so now at this point I'm much more precise in where I want to go, and I do want to go to a specific location here in this jumble of nebulae, and that's going to be right here. This is a location called the Cygnus Wall, and I want to see that Cygnus Wall, so I'm going to move us there now. It's gonna be right there in our view. Let's go move there. Telescope's gonna move ever so slightly. Actually, not yet, it won't, but this will. Now it will. Sorry. Okay. So now, right now, there won't be anything that it knows nearby, because we're not actually looking at it right now. Okay. So the Cygnus Wall is here. So I'm going to now do a 25-second shot to check it out. Alright, and I will grab our guide stars first. You never run short of stars in the Milky Way, especially the Cygnus Milky Way. Okay, there we go. Alright, and off we go. Okay, let's try this 25-second shot now. And that's good. Now we'll go to our live stack and then check it out. Let's go into our deep sky mode. Nicely done. I can't wait to see how this comes out. Oh yeah, right there in the middle. That's beautiful. That's the Cygnus Wall area. It goes. It's much more extensive than this. But we're going to first color correct. Now we do have we literally have a first quarter moon out there right now. So the moon is still bright. Okay, but what we're going to do is we're going to move our curves so that we can actually see more detail in it. There we go. Nice. That's going to be pretty. Okay. Now sometimes if you shrink the image, you can see more detail. See how you see more in here? But we have 3 shots stacked so far right there, you can see. Alright, and so those 3 shots right there will quickly give way to a 4th. Yeah. And as we move forward, you'll start to see more detail come out of this cloud. Detail that we've never been able to see before. Hey Nelson, how are you doing? Actually, 3i Atlas, I did take a photograph of it, but I did it for my radio show, Sky Tour Radio, Wednesday nights from 8 to 10 on KGRA radio. And so the image we showed of the object, it's disappointing to the uninitiated, but I took a deep exposure of the Milky Way with a filter called a radiant filter. It allowed me to kind of ignore most of the clutter, and I was able to see the stars, and it was moving 1.47 arc seconds per minute, right, in the view. So I left it open for quite a few minutes, got beautiful stars, and then you see a dash, and that dash is the thing moving through the field. So it's pretty cool. And so I have the image, and I should probably, let me see if I can dig up the image for you. Actually, I know I can, so if you give me a moment while this is coming in, I will dig up the image and show it to you. Because I took it a while back, and it looks really nice. Okay, I'm in my drive where it's located, and there it is, 3i Atlas. I also did one better. I actually got it, I put a box around it so you can see where it is in the field. Alright, so let me see, while this is coming in, let's see if this will show. There we go. Okay, so here is the image of 3i Atlas. Now these are the Sagittarius Milky Way, and then right there, I put a box around it. I'll zoom in. Okay, you'll see that there is dots for stars everywhere except here. That's a dash. That faint dash you see, that is the interloper. That's the cosmic interloper. Now, it's not all the way at the edge of the solar system. It's actually, it's only, I forget the distance. I think it's out just past Mars. Okay, and it's going to be very far from our sun. From our Earth. It's not going to get close to us. But its path is projected to take it in the solar system, go around the sun at some distance, and then leave the solar system. But there you go. That's 3i Atlas. And I did all the work for you already. Took the image. Okay. So it's quite a interesting object. In fact, I'll be talking about it when I go to I-95 radio on Tuesday. I'll be talking about it and giving more facts and details about it. And just remember, and I'm going to call it this, all the crap you see about it on the internet, there's absolutely no fundamental truth to any of that. Okay, you know by now that people want clicks, and so they're going to say things to make you click on it. And the fact is, it's not an object that's a spaceship hurling toward the Earth to, do anything. That's just crazy. It's following a proper path. It's not deviating and steering around things. What's interesting about it, though, is this, and I will tell you. And this is from the radio show I did for our show, Sky Tour Radio. 3i Atlas is interesting for the following reasons. First of all, 3i Atlas is coming in more on the plane of our solar system than from high above. It's coming in a plane of our solar system. So it's actually going to pass Jupiter, Mars, and Venus as it comes through. And that makes it seem odd. Okay? And that's one of the things that, and Avi Loeb, I've told you this many times, I've worked with the guy on some television shows and stuff, and I know Avi. Personally, he's a nice guy. And he's not one for, making pronouncements about things. He got in trouble with the press and the people that want to cause him trouble because he said that maybe Oumuamua could have been an alien craft. He said we couldn't dismiss that possibility. He didn't say it was. He just said we couldn't dismiss the possibility. That's all he said. And he got in trouble for it. So that said, he basically is sticking his neck out there with this one to say that this object could very well be an interstellar object as well, and primarily it's because of the planets it's passing as it's coming through. The fact that it's passing Jupiter, Mars, and Venus, and going to do a close pass by each of these planets, not the Earth, by the way, indicates that it could be what an interstellar probe might do. Okay, that's all he said. But the chances of that happening are 0.002%, just so you understand, or 0.02%, of that being a random flight trajectory. So it seems like it could be something intelligent, and that's the reason he said that. It doesn't mean it is. It just means that it could be. And that's all there was to it. Okay. Look at that beautiful column of dust. This is dark dust that has a healthy component of hydrogen in it that's being ionized by stars in the region. Really, really pretty. Yeah. This is all dark dust here. All dark dust down here. And this is being profiled against it and silhouetted. This stuff is silhouetting the dust. Donald Kunzer rightly says Avi Loeb described Oumuamua, the first interloper. We had 3 so far. We had Oumuamua, Comet Borisov, Borisov, an interstellar comet, and now we have 3I Atlas. So the 3I means 3 interstellar, third interstellar object. But yeah, the thing that he said was that he described Oumuamua as flat, and he's right. It is flat. It's like a large pancake, okay, and that's actually common for objects that may be captured by from another star. How do we know? Well, if you look at one of the next object that the New Horizons spacecraft flew to after visiting Pluto, that object was called Ultima Thule. Ultima, Thule, Ultima Thule. And Ultima Thule was a Kuiper belt object that was called a binary or contact object. It had 2 pancakes that had orbited closer and closer until they made contact. And when they made contact, that striking of the 2 objects together melted the ice at their surfaces just enough to bond them together once it refroze almost immediately. So it went bam, and it just stuck. And it's forevermore they're going to be in that gentle spinning configuration until such time as another object might strike them. And the chances of another object hitting them are almost 0. Because as many millions of objects there are out in the Kuiper belt and the Oort cloud, okay, beyond it, they are very far apart from each other. So there we go. So we got 18 objects here captured. We're getting some wins, so 6 have been rejected. Let's see where that rejection was happening. Okay, so it was happening early on, or kind of in the middle. So we had a little burst of wind right in here that prevented 5 of these from being taken. But we have another one. We got 19 now. We'll do 1 more. And then we will save it. So first things first, let's rename this. This will be called the Cygnus Wall segment. Okay, we lost our 20th exposure. It's okay, I'll still capture it. Save exactly as seen. That's good. Good, we got our 20. Save exactly as seen. My head is still 3 hours earlier. For me, it's only 10 o'clock at night. It's not 1 o'clock in the morning. So there we go. So, oh, I got another one. Good. 21. I'll save that too. All right, meanwhile, while we're doing that, let's go to our planetarium. Let's look for something else. There's so much to see. And we're going to take things that are high in the sky. Now, we've looked at the Veil Nebula before. And I don't want to look at it tonight. But what I do, well, as a contrast in color, we can show you the Dumbbell Nebula as a contrast in color. Yeah. Okay. Next time we'll look at the Veil Nebula. Yeah, we got a lot going on. And as we wait a little longer, we're going to have more objects. We have the Cocoon Nebula, which is down here. And it's pretty high up. But then we have the Wizard Nebula, and we have other objects in Cepheus coming up here, which is really pretty. We have the Iris Nebula, which I haven't looked at yet with this telescope, so we'll be getting to that at some point. You can certainly go there tonight, but I want to just do the dumbbell tonight after this. Dumbbells in Vulpecula, which is the little fox, Vulpex, right there, the fox. Okay. And then maybe drop down to another planetary. That's the Saturn Nebula. The Saturn Nebula is kind of low, but you know, it might show up well. We're going to give that a try too. So we'll do the Dumbbell and then the Saturn Nebula. Okay, so let's go back. Sorry, we are. Dumbbells measure 27. Okay, let's save this last shot of the Cygnus wall. Save it exactly as seen. And then we'll come out, go back to our low light mode, and we'll drag ourselves over to the Dumbbell Nebula, which I have a feeling you're going to like. It's beautiful. It'll look really pretty tonight, and so I can't wait to check it out. Alright, so let me just get our framing right. Again, these are our new cameras. This is the oldest camera. This is a newer camera, and this is the newest camera. It's actually on the outside of the building looking in, so we can actually study the around outside and look for people. But the truth is, we're rather well isolated here on this little hilltop. We're at 3,600 feet with this observatory and elevation, which is nice. So now let's come back to this. There's the Dumbbell Nebula, and let's go there. Telescope's moving. Look at it go. And it's heading over to the dumbbell. We should see a little hourglass shape appear here. There it is. Right. And let's stop this. And let's move this up into the view better. Once again, I have to thank David Klein from Star Arizona for coming out and using Pole Master to align our big old beast here. That pier is, the pier alone is 63 inches tall. And then the telescope sits on top of that. Okay. All right, so here we go. So that's beautiful. Now, what we're going to do is we're going to set up our guiding for this, which will first grab the stars. Here we are. And pick a guide star. Bam, that's a great guide star. All right, perfect. Nice peak, fully in our view. It doesn't go too far off. All right, so now let's do a 30-second shot of this, because there's some more on the outside of this that is really fascinating to see. More detail that we've not seen before. All right, so we're gonna go out of our low light mode and go into our deep sky mode. And while we're doing that, I'm gonna get a drink of water. Oh yeah. So we're almost there. Almost there. Oh, look at that. All right, this is the first one. So we're going to come back here and do a color correction. And the moon reddens our view just a tiny bit. And then I'm going to do a shift of the mid view down quite a lot for this reason. Okay, there we go. That's beautiful. And let's take this a little further off the peak for a moment. Notice the details on the outside are going to get even brighter. This is the Dumbbell Nebula. I want you also to notice something very important here, and that is that in the center of the in the center of the nebula, the star that's in the center is decidedly blue, isn't it? It's markedly blue, and the reason for that is because it's a white dwarf, and its surface temperature is 35,000 to 40,000 Kelvin, which is, an absolute temperature scale, just a little bit higher in Celsius than that. But if you notice, this blue star showcases something called the black body spectrum. Hot objects in the universe are blue, and not so hot objects are white. Cool objects are red. So these stars out here are red and thus cool. This here object is much hotter than any of the stars in this image. Okay? And these stars aren't necessarily bigger, but they might also just be closer to us, or they might just be higher luminosity, higher intrinsic brightness, so they look bigger on an image, but might be in fact farther than other objects in this view. So the universe is 3D at all times. So notice now how we're getting a faint outer ring of blue here. See that? And there's another one here. What's happening in this nebula, if you notice, and I'm going to drop the colors down just a little. Okay, see that? I'm softening the colors to kind of showcase some of the detail in here. All right. This obvious arc and this obvious arc are connected to each other in a way. And then you have a line through the middle here, through the star to here. Here's what may be going on in here. And this is the Mark D'Antonio theory. It's not anyone else's. I think what's going on is that the star is aligned North Pole, South Pole, North Pole to South Pole through here. Okay? Through here. And it's spinning this way in the view. Let me just actually come up here to tell you that. Let me show you what I'm talking about. So up here, I think that it's spinning this way, okay? And this is the North Pole, and this is the South Pole in the view. And so what it's actually doing as it spins, it's precessing. It's doing this. That's what I think is going on. And as it's doing that, it's flinging material out along that line. And right now, we may be looking at the current location of the precessed motion right now, because we're actually seeing this line across here that's actually quite bright. And so it might be that it's precessing that way right now. All right, that seems to be what it might be doing to me. Now, what's happening here is we are using, Ray's asking what filter. If you look down here, you can see what filter we're using. It's right here. It's the UHCS filter. We could use the Radian SA100, which is a gradient. We could do dark frames, or we could just leave it open. With the moon out, we want to use a filter to cut the brightness of the moon. And as you can see, we have. It's looking rather beautiful, actually. So what I'll do is I'm going to get the object name. There it is, Dumbbell Nebula. We're going to set the target name and save it to that directory. All right, there it is. And so just for your edification, here's what you get when you go get that. All right, you get this image, which is going to be at skytourlive.org. If you scroll down, you'll see Take Me to Cool Pictures, and you'll see the instructions on how to get these. We're still slowly but surely working on the app, and it'll all be in there sooner than later, but it's taking some time. Okay, we've got 11 images captured here and stacked. All right, and now let's bring in this section here to bring the brightness up just a little without doing too much damage to the rest of the image. Now you can see that we have this detail out here. This is blue extra out here, blue more out here. And multiple shells have been ejected from this star. Very complex what we see happening with these nebulae. Very, very complex. You know. Eliza, how are you? How are you doing? Thank you for joining us. If you haven't subscribed, I would hope that you would. Folks who haven't subscribed, do subscribe. Everything we do is free. We give away everything, you know. If you want to support us with our Patreon, you certainly can. It says across the top there, you can support our Patreon. You can go to SkyTour Shop and buy cool cups and mugs and things with images like this on them that we take. And you can just have a ball. They're going through there and seeing about 50 products that we have right now. I have a lot more, but I only have 50 that I'm selling at the moment up there. All right. So yeah. So if we were taking this with black and white film, this is what it would look like. You wouldn't know what was red and what was not. And if we go all the way up, well, then it gets almost too bright. It's too gaudy. A more realistic color scheme puts us right about here. Okay, right about there, maybe a little bit lower. That's a realistic. Now, the red is most likely hydrogen gas that's ionized to glow red. Okay, and the blue is oxygen. Now, oxygen is being doubly ionized, means that 2 electrons are energetically bounced off the atom. They absorb so much energy, they leave the atom for a period of time. Then when they rejoin the atom, one of the characteristic ways in which they give off energy to drop back into the atom is they give off light. In oxygen's case, it's a teal blue color like this. In hydrogen's case, it's a red color when the hydrogen electron jumps back into the atom. So that's how that works. Eliza says she's doing great. Good to see you again at Contact in the Desert. Oh, I'm glad you enjoyed it. Did you see my interdimensional travel talk? Is that what you saw, Eliza? I don't remember. And Michael Hedrick, what's up, brother? I'm glad you could make it. Yeah, so we've got 17 images here. Oh, just so beautiful. Mark said, Mr. Django Steven Smet in Belgium says, Mark, once I changed the colors, red and blue, and it was beautiful. Yeah, it's beautiful. Hey, Michael, no problem. No problem. Good to see you, man. I mean, sometimes you can. This is too much color. That's too much. I mean, we can use it to sort of pick out the colors brighter, but to be realistic, we would drop it to about half the intensity, maybe right here, right about there. That's about the right intensity for what this really looks like. And you can see detail like knots of color and stuff. And look at that beautiful feature right there above the white dwarf. That is a white dwarf. White dwarfs are not doing fusion. Oh, Eliza was my room host. I remember you. Oh, so nice to see you here, Eliza. Thank you so much for coming. Wow. Yeah. So as I was saying, the white dwarf is not doing fusion anymore. It's just very, very hot. That's basically the collapsed core of the star, and as it collapses, the matter in this core is reduced to what's called a degenerate state, and the degenerate state is, I'm not going to describe the degenerate state of matter here, but the degeneration of the degenerate state of the matter is such that the electrons themselves are packed so tightly together that you can't get another electron near them. Let me think. Okay, think of a checkerboard. Every square has an electron in it, and you can't put 2 electrons per square. So that's what the matter is three-dimensionally in the star. All these electrons are packed so close together that every time if you try to pack any more in there or anything else in there, what happens is those electrons packed so closely together push back. If you're in a crowd of people and they're all pushed together, you can only push them together so far before you start getting resistance because they're packed together so tightly. You can't push another one in there. And that's what electron degeneracy is. That's what we're seeing here. Degenerate electrons pushing outward, and that's called electron degeneracy pressure. So if the white dwarf was to acquire more mass somehow, then all hell could break loose and it could explode as a type 1a supernova, or perhaps it could continue to collapse into a neutron star. So you go past electron degeneracy pressure, and for massive stars, this is what happens. When the stars collapse, they go right past electron degeneracy and go right to neutron degeneracy pressure. And so that's the neutron star. And the neutrons are now packed so tightly together that you can't get another one in there, and so they push back effectively. They resist getting crushed, and that's the neutron degeneracy. And that's what we get with large stars. And so neutron stars do that. If you get even more massive stars, then those stars are going to potentially shrink further past neutron degeneracy and go right to black hole status. And that's the other strange thing that the universe has to offer. So there is our Dumbbell Nebula. We got 25 frames, beautiful guiding. The guiding is going great. You can see here the skies are beautiful tonight out in our Bortle 3 location, even with a first quarter moon. So we can still do a nice job out here. Now, we'll save this as 26. Stacked images. Save exactly as seen. Now, what is a stack? Many of you know this because I say it so much. But we take one image, then we take a second image, align its stars with each other, and pack it onto the first one, and we just make an image stack. And the more we do, the less noise we see in between all the darkness. Okay, the first ones look kind of fuzzy, and that's because there's a lot of noise in there. The more we stack, the less noise is apparent because we're averaging it all out. And that's the beautiful part about stacking. So, there we go. So Dumbbell Nebula. Now let's go to, after this, let's go to the Saturn Nebula. Okay, this will all be up on skytourlive.org under Take Me to Cool Pictures. You can go there. Alright, so now we're going to go back to our low light mode here. And when you guys want to do a longer exposure, we'll do that for you. Like we could do 5 minutes here to catch those outer areas. But you're going to be sitting for 5 minutes per shot. You know, so it is pretty difficult to actually, you know, sit up for that. It's kind of hard, you know, and trying to bring you many objects at once is what I'm trying to do. So let's go back to our planetarium shot here, and let's go look for the Saturn Nebula again. Let's see if it's got, yes it does, okay. Now this is a very different planetary nebula. You're going to see the telescope whip around now. Here it goes. It's looking toward the southeast, and there's a Saturn Nebula. It's blue, but maybe there's going to be details that we can see. So we're going to check it out. Alright, so let's come back here, and let's move the telescope. Bring that in. Okay, and then we'll move up. Oops, sorry, I went the wrong way. There we go. Now this object is going to benefit from a lower exposure. Alright, and you're going to see why it's called the Saturn Nebula. So we're going to only do a 12-second exposure of this object for now. We may go a little higher after. But let's back out of this, go into our live stack. Remember, we have an 11-inch telescope we're using. So that's going to bring in a lot of light for this little object. Okay, there it is. Now it's called the Saturn Nebula because it kind of looks like Saturn, but it's not. Now let's do a color correction. And now I'm going to take the black level and bring it way back a little bit because I want to try and show you some more details. But to get to the details, and because we have such a high dynamic range with this camera, meaning that we can expose very deep details. And now this actually, I'm going to clear this because I didn't actually start to do the guiding. So I'm going to make sure we're guiding first. Okay, there we go. And now I will get our guide stars. There we are. And then we'll say guide. Kabing, got our crosshair. So now I'll come back here and clear this and wait for our next image. It won't be a bad thing at all. Prow asked earlier what causes the color of red at the edges. I mentioned that earlier, Prow, but you might have missed it. That's just fine. And that's the Dumbbell Nebula he was talking about. Prow, the red is from the red is from hydrogen that's being ionized. Okay, hydrogen gas being ionized. All right. So let's now take our mid-level here and drop it way down. And you'll notice that we're all the way here at the end, and we're still not able to get out or see the core of this object very well. That's because it's overexposed, because 12 seconds in this 11-inch scope is still even too long. So what we'll do is let's just do 5 seconds in this telescope and clear this once again. And now you'll see something very different. Doesn't look much different, but when we move this down, yeah, see that? It's still too bright. Of course, I'm at a very high rate here. If I just drop this down, if I drop down the sensitivity of the sensor and clear it again, now you're going to see something different. Okay. You're going to see the characteristic teal blue of oxygen that's doubly ionized. And then I'll make it a little brighter. And come back here. And I'll color correct again. Get all our curves lined up. I'm going to back this out to just before the curve. Now you can see details inside the planetary. You can see it's actually kind of a ring nebula, but you don't get to see that when you're taking pictures to get the actual disk here that's also involved with this particular planetary. See that? So we're running at a very low sensitivity right now, so we're not going to see a whole lot of stars, but we can see the detail in there. I'm not going to keep this. I just wanted to show you this different planetary. Okay. But that's the Saturn Nebula. And again, not keeping it. Not interested in keeping that. Alright. So, let's go back here now to our planetary. Southern Aquarius. This now, here's the Helix. Helix is very low to the horizon right now in the southeast. It's rising, it's getting higher, but it's not. If I turn off my zenith coordinates and put on these, you can see it has a ways to go before it'll be as high up as it should be. But we can try it. I don't know why we shouldn't try it. It might not be. Let me see. Might not be high enough. It's only 15 degrees. I think we can do it. You just check it out. This is the planetary known as the Helix. So the telescope's gonna, swing around now. And it's supposedly on it now. It's very big compared to what we're looking at right now. I mean, it's... Oh, I gotta check and see. Let's see. Let's get some stars, see if we can actually guide on anything. We have one star in there. And I guess we'll guide on it. Alright. Let's see if we manage to capture it. If you notice, it's looking kind of over the roof here a little bit. So I'm not sure how much the roof may or may not be influencing us right now. We'll do 25 seconds just to see. And it's going to be a lousy view of it because we have to wait for it to get higher in the sky. I mean, it is 1:37 here in Connecticut, 10:37 out there. But let's see what we have. It's also pretty faint, being that it's one of the, if it's not, it's the closest planetary to us. Oh, I left this up, didn't I? Yeah, we're seeing something here. Yeah, we're seeing part of it. I think this is it. Let's pull this up. Yeah, because it's so large, it's difficult to see everything. Let me see if I can color correct this. Yeah, here's the ring. You can see the circle of it here. When it gets higher, we'll be able to see a lot more detail. No doubt about it. Let's see if I can... Yeah, you see what I mean? It's there, but very, very faint. That's also a planetary nebula. And you can see that blue thing in the middle. Again, That's a white dwarf. 35 to 40,000 Kelvin in temperature. So pretty cool. You know. Aurelio's with us. How you doing, man? Aurelio, he's the guy who runs the Danbury Library in Connecticut. Aurelio, I'm going to be on with I-95. They asked me to come on in the studio Tuesday. And that's a let's put it this way. I owe you that particular visit because they have been, they were turned on to me because of you. And that's very cool. Very cool. You bring my music down. I feel like I'm leaving it too long here. Okay. Okay, let me take this out here. We're actually guiding way in the horizon. That's good. Yeah, we have a much better way to view this, view things. Really, if you just joined us, you've been missing all the good stuff, man. Jeez, man. That's it, C&D. You're Maruka. He's Maraca. Okay, let's come back here. Let's get out of the junk here and come up to something cool. Let's go. Yeah, we're back there. You know what's nice actually? Up here. I gotta find it. Is it this guy? It's actually really kind of small. That one's small. I'm trying to find it though. Looking for something in particular. Maybe that's it. Looking. It's only 19 by 18 arc seconds. So that's a no goo. Well, I'll tell you what. We can actually come up here. That's the Ring Nebula. That'd be the best we could ever see it, but I would guess we can try it. I may have to watch the telescope carefully for this one. The Ring Nebula would be cool. We gotta make sure that we don't have anything. It should be okay. Here it is. Alright, let's see the Ring Nebula. And, oh, let me bring our sensitivity up now again. Bring that up to 250 from where it was. Okay. Okay, I got the Ring Nebula selected, and we're going to solve for this location. And plate solve succeeded, so I'm going to just solve and resync so we can actually put the Ring Nebula dead center. It's right nearby. Here it is. Okay, this is yet another planetary nebula. You'll notice it's smaller than the Dumbbell Nebula and smaller than the Helix that we just tried to look at. Now its distance is 2,870 light years from us. All right, and again, there's a little galaxy here. So let me just do that to get it lined up a little better. And then we'll take the Ring Nebula, measure 57, and we'll set that target name. Okay. Okay. This one's another one that doesn't benefit from long exposure because this part here is so bright it will overexpose quite easily. So we're going to do this. We're going to get some stars. Okay, and we'll grab our guide stars. Here we are. Now we're guiding on a somewhat faint star. Alright, but that should be okay. I'll just try one more time, make sure we can grab a good star. Okay, that's a better one. Alright. Okay, so now let's come back here and let's just do a exposure that is very simple. We're going to do a 12-second exposure. Trust me, it's a very, very bright object. So we'll do 12 seconds and go into deep sky mode where we get more control over what we get from the object. So we're looking almost straight up. So this is where the nebula will look the best it could possibly look, is here. Except when it's not guiding properly. So I may not have let the guider get stabilized, or the wind is hitting us. Yeah, it's still problematic. If the wind is whacking us, that's what is causing this. Okay, that's better. So this dark level I'm going to pull off the peak because we go just to the left all the time. Then this guy, the mid-level, that guy is going to come way down here. So we can start to see the details emerge. There's the white dwarf inside the ring nebula. And it is quite bright as well. I think it's magnitude 14. It's actually, dim for your eyes, but it shows up well here, and it'll show up even better if we process it back in and so forth. Now you can see it very clearly. But we're going to do this to keep the colors where they ought to be. Again, I could always go way up here with the colors, but look, then it's too bright, too much. So I'm going to bring these colors down to where they need to be. This is more realistic. Right? So the ring nebula, I'll tell you my theory on ring nebulas. They look like rings no matter which way you look at them. And that's what I think is going on with this one. Now there's some research that indicates that maybe this is a barrel of nebula. And we're kind of looking down the barrel of this nebula. I don't subscribe to it. It might be somewhat of a barrel. But the thing is, this is a star that ejected its outer shells in a relatively spherical manner, a little bit oblate, as you can see. And so, when it ejects a gas that's ionized, the gas becomes somewhat opaque because of the ionized light. When the electrons combine with the atom again, they give off light, as I mentioned. Oxygen being the teal blue, and then red for hydrogen and neon and some other elements. But here's the thing. If you look at my hands, okay, when you're looking at the front and the back of the nebula, you can see through my fingers if my hands were the nebula. If you turn them sideways, you can't see through my fingers because you're looking through more stuff. And so that's why no matter which direction you look at this from, no matter where you're looking at it from space, from your home planet, wherever it is, you will see a ring. So it's a ring everywhere you look at it from because of the nature of how the shells are expended. And when they get out, and when you look at it from an edge, you're looking through more stuff. And so it's going to be more opaque than the front or the back. So that's what that's all about. And I believe that's what's going on with the ring nebula. Okay, now let's see if we can bring some more detail back here, and we can. You'll notice our central star is very bright. Okay, now I can zoom in on that a little bit. Okay, There it is. And see, this is only a 12-second exposure. So it's almost too high, but it's perfect for being able to show the star in the middle. And we can probably make it a little more contrasty so you can see it even better. But keep in mind there is an oxygen 3 ionized oxygen shell that we're looking through here. And that's what that teal blue is, and you can see the star right in the middle there. Pretty cool, Captain. I'm liking it. So that little star in there, right there, that's the guy. Very nice. Okay. So we'll let a few more come in. We got 22 images already stacked. And you can start to see some detail. There's a lot more detail in here. Let's do this. Let's over process this and see if the over processing shows us any additional details out here. Not really that I can see. Well, maybe there's that galaxy that is sitting here. The galaxy we saw was this one here. When I bring this up, you'll see that's IC 1296 galaxy, magnitude 15. Okay. Yeah, so overprocessing doesn't show the faint red stuff out here. But then again, we're looking at it through a first quarter moon, so it's tough. Hey, Fantasy's with us. How you doing, Fantasy? Fantasy says, I don't know how things have been at the observatories, but my part of the desert has been 10 degrees cooler than normal all summer. Where are you again, Fantasy? What part of the desert are you in? Okay, so now I'll wait till 30 exposures here. And here we go, 30. We'll save it as a ring nebula and save exactly the scene. Very cool. Yeah, so tonight we've been seeing a lot of planetary nebulae. We saw some beautiful nebulae in the Milky Way. The Milky Way we saw looked up in Cygnus. There's one more object I want to look at. Just one more. I know it's me, just one more. So we're going to go back to our 1 second object. We did save this. So it'll be up there at skytourlive.org. If you go say look at pretty pictures, you can look for today's date, read the instructions. It'll tell you how to get the pictures. All good. All right, so now let's go to our low light mode one more time. You'll see the nebula here very faintly. Okay, and now I'm going to go back down into Cygnus, because what I want to do now is take you to another nebula that is absolutely maddeningly hot. It's one of the hottest locations of all, and so it's almost up there. Let's go here. There it is. We want to look at the Crescent Nebula. This is an area of the sky where there's a hot star that has literally forced all its layers off, all its outer layers off. And these layers are creating a nebula, and the nebula is the precursor to a supernova that's coming. And I'll explain why in just a moment. So we're going to go here now, and you'll see the telescope start to move, and we're going to get this out of there. We don't need that. Alright. Alright, and I don't know quite where it is yet. Well, it's okay. I can just tell it to find it if I can't see it directly. Okay, it's very near. So good. Okay. So we're good. And if I do this, there it is. The Crescent Nebula is right there. And I see it kind of right there. So I'm going to bring this up a little bit. Like that. And then I go this way a little bit. I think that works. Maybe I gotta see. All right, let's go and just do a quick exposure to see that it's here. Just a 12-second exposure. We won't even try to stack it because we're going to do a longer exposure. I think it's right here. I think it's right there. Just making sure. I think that star's right there. Okay, there we go. Yeah, good. Almost there. Okay, so what I'll do is I'm going to go down here and do this one last thing. This is really beautiful. And now we're gonna move it over a little bit. Over a little bit. Over a little bit, and then up just a bit. There we go. A little more. Okay, so there's the end of it, and it comes around to here. Okay, now you're going to see a pre-supernova star. Very, very, very hot. These are among the hottest stars in the universe. They're hotter than the O-type stars, which are the hottest and the bluest. And they're blowing off their outer layers. And what you're looking at when we see the star, which is this guy right here, what we're seeing with the star is we're actually seeing the core of the star. That's all that's left is the core. And they could be literally several 100,000 degrees, okay? Or several 100,000 Kelvin, right? See that little wind just pushed that? So we're going to come back in now and try and do this. Yeah, we got wind, which blurred us up there for a bit. We're going to try it. I do have a wind meter, actually, and I should be listening to it, but I'm not. I just don't want to be sidetracked by it. Okay, so now let's grab our guide star. Got a guide star. And away we go. Okay, now let's go and do our exposure of the Crescent Nebula. We're going to do a 30-second shot of the Crescent. This is going to be a beautiful image because there's so much detail in this, so much going on. And that's the star causing it all right there. This star has a special name. It's called a Wolf-Rayet star. That's Wolf-Rayet, R-A-Y-E-T. And the Wolf-Rayet stars are well known for being very, very hot. They eject their outer layers of the star. Only the of a star's full diameter, look at that. As the star's full diameter, only the inner 15 to 20% of the star is actually doing any fusion. As you can see, this is actually just barely got the whole thing in there. That's great. Only 15 to 20% of the star is actually doing fusion. Okay, the rest is along for the ride, but it's so hot that it's plasma, right? And so when we look at this guy right here, let me actually get a little more detail here, right up that curve. There you go. Look at that beautiful thing. This star, as a Wolf-Rayet star, it ejected all this material. It's ejected it all out. And that used to be the envelope of the star. You know, when you look at the sun, if you could see the core of the sun, it would be a tiny little dot in the sky. It wouldn't be much bigger than maybe just about 20% of the sun would be the entire core of the sun. And the rest, the other 80% is just hydrogen gas for the most part, and elements that the star was made with that are actually sitting there as plasma in that outer envelope of the star. Sorry, I was looking at something trying to figure out. And that outer envelope of the star is something that is inert in terms of producing any energy, but it's being ionized by the inner radiation that's coming out from the central core, and that is causing the star to lose its electrons, and it's so hot that the electrons cannot go back into the atoms, so you just have free electrons and protons running around and streaming off the star toward us. That's called the solar wind. And so the thing about these Wolf-Rayet stars is they have immense winds. I'm actually going to clear this because we're getting some deviation in our guiding. I just want to make sure that we catch round stars, and we didn't catch round stars. So we're going to try again. I want this to be a good shot. Okay, those are round. Yeah, so when we look at this here, we're looking at a nebula, which I will give you some more details about the nebula. This guy is literally 4,700 light years away. Now, at 4,700 light years, I can tell you how big this is in light years. I have a program, and I just have to measure the size in arc seconds. We can get that, or arc minutes. We can get that from one of these. I think this guy coming up, not that guy. Oh, where'd my? Oh, it was in here. The tool. Yeah, it's probably this next tool. No, probably this. Well, I'll figure it out. There was a tool in here that you could actually use to make a quick reference, and so you can determine how big the object is. Now I could do the calculation, figure it out for you, but it's actually, it's several light years in size. So this star is pumping out all this material several light years away. Now you might say, why isn't it pumped out in a perfect sphere? Why isn't it even? Well, the reason it's not even is because it's running into stuff in the interstellar medium as it's going out. And so it's actually colliding with the interstellar medium, causing it to slow down. So it's being, see, this is all dark nebula here. It's colliding with dark dust and stuff here and slowing it down. And that's what we see. Now, that's not all that's here. There's a lot more in here. So if I pull this way close, you can see there's sort of a haze in here. That haze has to do with the rest of the material that's actually hiding in here that you cannot see. Right? Now, again, this is called a push process, where I'm pushing the results, and it makes it a little bit more fuzzy. But we only have 3 images stacked, and 2 have been rejected. So we're getting some wind, like we saw in the previous set of images. But I could get rid of that by doing this, dropping this down to about here. I can tolerate that. So we'll see if we get. Let's see if we get. We got a 4th one. That's good. But what a beautiful sight, huh? Yeah, these stars, Wolf-Rayet stars, are very hot. There's several different kinds. We're right at the cusp. Several different kinds, and they are very, very hot. Very hot. If you were within a few light years of this star, your planet would be destroyed, because the ultraviolet energy they give off would just destroy any atmosphere you had on your planet. It'd strip the atmosphere off the planet. So, tell me something, everybody who's watching. What do you think of the Sky Tour live stream so far? I mean, in general, overall, do you think it's worth the time? You know, should I quit and just give it up? Don't worry, I'm not gonna. I just want to know how you feel, what you think about what we're doing here. Because you know that I do this, it's the labor of passion for astronomy and getting the word out about it. And as a professional astronomer, I seem to be stuck with that gene that means I have to do this. Crazy. I'm a crazy guy. Alright, 8 shots. I'm going to go to 10 on this. We're doing that. Let me look around. I hear wind in my camera view. You may be able to hear wind. Yeah, you can hear the wind. So we're it's getting windy out there. See that? Our full width half maximum filter is right at the cusp, but if I go any taller, then the stars are going to get oblate very, very badly. So this is the minimum for this telescope. About 13 is the threshold here when I'm looking here. Eliza says she loves the photos. Thank you. That's very kind. Sally Forth says, kind of can't imagine life without this now. Well, that's very kind. That's very kind. Thank you. A nice thing about this stuff, and again, I guess it gets me every time, I still can't wrap my head, even though I made this, I can't wrap my head around the fact that this is 2,600 miles away, out in the middle of the Arizona desert, on a mountain, and this is just one. I just wonder what's going on. Yeah, see, okay, I'm gonna halt this here because we're not getting any more but I'm going to define it first so that we can actually see it and make that the target. Okay. And there's going to be a big circle around it that'll be invisible to us because it's way bigger than the field of view of the scope of the camera. Okay. Yeah, we managed to get another one. Let's see if we can go to 10. We got 9. Come on, you can do it. You can do it. Here we go. Oh no, that's a big windy one. Look at that. Big windies. The big windies. I'm going to tell you what was happening with this scope. I had to make a special visit to the Benson scope because it started to go haywire. And it was running out of control. I had to keep shutting power off to it when doing private streams. Not private streams, just private viewing. Hey, look, we got a 10th. The problem was, oddly enough, we had a cable issue, and that cable issue caused it to lose connection. Plus, our new camera we installed, this one here, okay, that new camera, for some reason, was interfering with the telescope control. And I isolated everything now, and it works great. But there's the Crescent. That's available for you to take and enjoy. Again, skytourlive.org. And Tiffany, who was here earlier, before she and Michael were celebrating their 17th year anniversary, Tiffany was saying that at some point we're going to be starting doing the giveaways again. So we'll be offering binoculars and so forth to people. Oh, I got to tell you a little thing too. When I was flying back from Arizona, I was looking out the window, and I got hit in the face with a blue laser. Somebody actually beamed a laser at the plane. And, you know, they don't think it's that bright, but you're looking down the barrel of a laser. So you're getting quite a bit of intensity. And that laser was really bright. So, I didn't report it, but I probably should have. Okay, but I didn't. Okay, so that one wasn't good. All right. Okay. All right. So, that's the Crescent Nebula. And I'm going to look one more time to see if there's something else I would like to check out before we go for the night. And the Milky Way is going to be past the meridian by a substantial amount, but that's okay. Okay, and is that what we looked at before? I think it was. Oh, the blue racquetball. Yeah, oh, see the wind there. Ooh, I don't know if you can hear that. We got a lot of wind hitting us right now. Okay. All right. Well, that tells me that it's probably time to park the scope. So I'm going to do that now. You get to watch this. And I'll stop it right now. All right. And let's bring up Green Swamp Server. Okay. We're going to park it. And you watch the scope move now. Alright, it's going to move to a parking position, which is a safe spot for it. And there you go. Okay, we'll do that. Let's move this, show you this. Okay, scope is leaning over, going down below the roof. All right. Okay, we are parked. Now I'll disconnect. All right. Okay, so the scope is disconnected, and now, yes. You can see here, this is the interesting things I'll show you there. This right here, and because it's using the infrared, you can't see the colors. The camera's red. Okay, this is the filter wheel. This is the camera. Here's the guider camera and the off-axis guider here. Okay, hey, Toner Low, thank you. And now, what I'll do is I'm going to do the following. Now that I did that, I can now quit that. I can turn off power now. Okay, power is shut off. And so that's good. And now what I'll do is shut the roof. And now the roof's going to come right at us. Here comes the roof. Here we go. I mounted it outside the building. So now, so we're right at the edge of the building here. I don't know if this guy is still here. Oh. He was in his car because he must have done something in his car. He's probably finishing up for the evening too. Okay, let's look up and see what we got. There's the moon. Okay. Yeah, we can see some of the stars up there. Not bad. The bugs make the weird streaks, unfortunately. The sky is beautiful here. Alright. Okay, so there we are. And so now, let me just shrink this down now again. Pull it back into position. Okay, well, thanks, guys. I wanted to just do a stream for you because I haven't done one in a while. And so we are done for tonight. I hope you enjoyed it. And again, they're all available at SkyTourLive.org. Remember, we did do a supernova tonight, so that's pretty cool. Okay. And so we'll talk again in the next stream, which, well, I'm anxious to do streams because we really need to keep doing these, you know. So we'll be back again on the next clear night. And I look forward to hearing from you. So let me know if you have any questions. If you want to know where I am, you can contact me right here. Contact skytour@gmail.com. And all of our data is at skytourlive.org. Just take a screenshot and you'll have it. Or go to skytourlive.org and all this stuff is there too. Alright, guys? So good to see you. I hope you have a really good night. And we will talk again. Good night, everybody.
Stars so bright in the sky. On Arizona nights they fly. Nebulae in colors rare. Galaxies beyond compare. Sky tour in the night so clear. Brings the universe near. Real-time wonders to see. Streaming live for you and me. Lift your eyes to the skies. Universe in all its light. Sky tours bringing the views. Every night feels brand new. In the dark, the night unfolds. Stories of the a distant dream, living real like a gleam. Far away, up so high, across the stars beyond the skull. Through the lens, a distant dream, living real like a gleam. Lift your eye up so high, across the stars beyond the sky. Sky tour shows us the way, every night a new display. Lift your eyes to the skies, universe in all its light. Sky tours bringing the views, every night feels brand new. Lift your eyes to the skies, universe in all its light. Sky tours bringing the views, every night feels brand